welcome to Daily Book Insight. Our whole goal here is to help overthinkers like us build clarity, focus, and calm, using powerful ideas from some of the best nonfiction books out there. Today, we're tackling that feeling of being stuck on a mental hamster wheel, and we're going to explore a clear path to finally get off and find some peace. Okay, let's get into it. Does this sound familiar? Your mind is just always on. One second you're thinking about a work deadline, the next you're cringing at something you said last week, and then suddenly you're stressed about something that hasn't even happened yet. It feels like a race that never, ever ends.
And what's the result of all that mental gymnastics? We feel exhausted, right? We feel so busy, but when we look back at the end of the day, we think, what did I actually get done? It's this strange paradox where we're putting in all this effort, but not really moving forward.
This image, I think, just captures that feeling perfectly. You've got the chaos, the tangled mess of thoughts and worries on one side, and on the other, that deep desire for a simple, clear path. That internal tug of war is it's draining. It leaves you feeling totally overwhelmed.
But here's the good news. There is a way through all that noise. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the overthinking trap itself. Then, what happens when we hit the burnout wall? Next, we'll talk about a huge mindset shift called finding your locus of control. After that, we'll get practical with a system for meaningful work, and finally, we'll map out the journey from noise to clarity.
All right, let's start at the beginning. Let's really understand the trap that so many of us fall into.
You see, the real problem, as author Darius Foroux points out in his book Meaningful Productivity, is that we've got it all backwards. We've been trained to think that a packed schedule and an endless to-do list mean we're successful. But busyness is not the same as productivity. True productivity is about making progress on things that matter. Just filling our days with tasks, well, that's just a recipe for stress.
So what happens if we stay stuck in that cycle of being busy just for the sake of being busy? Well, eventually we get a little visit from someone Foroux calls the man with the hammer.
This idea actually comes from the world of endurance sports. You know, when a marathon runner hits the wall or bonks, it's because their body has physically run out of fuel. In the Netherlands, they have a great saying for it. The man with the hammer paid you a visit. It's that moment where you feel like you just can't take one more step.
And this is the perfect analogy for our mental state. For an athlete, hitting the wall is about running out of physical fuel, like carbs. For us, in our everyday lives, the man with the hammer shows up when our mind runs out of fuel, when our willpower is just gone, drained by pointless work and nonstop overthinking. That, right there, is mental burnout.
So this brings us to the big question, right? If the answer isn't to just hustle more because we know that just makes the burnout come faster, then what is the answer? How do we actually escape this cycle before we hit that wall? The solution starts not with some new productivity tool, but with a really deep shift in how we think. It's about figuring out what we can actually control.
This idea is rooted in ancient Stoic philosophy. It's about shifting our locus of control. Basically, instead of wasting all our mental energy worrying about things we have zero power over, we have to train ourselves to focus only on our own actions and our own mindset. This simple shift is a total game changer.
Think of it like a mental filter. On one side, you have the things you can absolutely control, your thoughts, your reactions to things, and the actions you take. On the other side, everything else, what other people think, things that happened in the past, world events, let all of that stuff go. Pour all your precious energy only into the things you can directly influence. So that's the big idea, the philosophy. But how do we turn that into something we can actually use every single day? Let's build a practical framework. In his book, Foroux lays out 5 key steps. First, prioritize. You got to focus on one important thing at a time. Second, set realistic goals, things you can actually get done. Third, and this is a big one, take breaks. Let your mind recharge. Fourth, practice mindfulness to stay in the present moment. And fifth, maybe the most important of all, use a system. I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got that chaotic, cluttered mind trying to multitask a million things at once. And on the right, you have a calm, focused mind. That transformation is exactly what mindfulness does. It's the simple act of noticing when your mind has wandered and gently bringing it back to right here, right now.
Now, Foroux really stresses this last point. Having a system is everything. And why is that? Because a system takes the guesswork out of it. It removes the need to constantly make decisions about what to do next. It gives you structure, it gives you clarity, and it gives you a track to run on. That way you save your willpower for the actual work, not for figuring out what the work is.
So, let's bring it all home. We've talked about the problem of overthinking, we've seen the burnout it causes, and we've laid out a mindset and a system to fix it. So what's the path forward from here?
This Benjamin Franklin quote from the book really puts it all in perspective. Every single hour we spend stuck in that loop of busy overthinking is an hour we can never, ever get back. The point isn't about saving time, it's about using time well. It's about making sure our time is spent on things that actually matter to us.
And if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. The solution to overthinking isn't to think more or to think harder. That just makes the problem worse. The real goal is to build an entirely new way of thinking, a better operating system for your mind, based on focus, control, and real action.
This right here, this is what we're aiming for. A state of calm focus, where what we do flows naturally from what we intend, without getting sidetracked by all the mental noise. This is how we get from overthinking to clarity. If you found this helpful, like the video, subscribe to Daily Book Insight, and share it with your family and friends who want to upgrade their life.